Thank you, Madam Chair. I really don't know where to start. All I know is that, are the ships still lined outside the harbors, or are they pretty much emptied out?
No, there's still lines. I will say that for environmental reasons, those lines have moved further out to sea.
But they're still lined up.
Yeah, and there are some smart people putting together things to sort of have them just slow steam. But there are, if they're not actual lines, they're virtual lines.
Okay, and then we've got the fact, as a good secretary or a good senator from Wisconsin has just pointed out, that we've got a lot of ag products. I think milk's been hit exceptionally hard, that we can't get off our shores. So, and just correct me if I'm wrong on this. Pre-pandemic, a container, 40-foot container, was about $1,300. Now it's 11,000.
It is so dependent, and unfortunately, it's not a very transparent. If you've heard different statistics, it doesn't mean people are. It means they're looking at different things.
So why isn't it transparent?
One of the reasons is because of market power. Why isn't it transparent is because there is no, we get a lot of stuff reported to us about contracts, but we're not allowed to share that with the public under the laws. It's proprietary information, sir.
So I know how much. I know how much BNF charges me to ship my grain to the ports. I know how much the rails charge. Well, what's the difference?
The difference is in the governing laws, sir. I mean,
okay,
but you know,
I think there. Well, my take is there's nothing wrong with transparency at any level of government, including that one.
I think both my fellow commissioner and I are huge advocates of transparency. Good. I will say, though, to answer your question about the specific rates, they've gone up dramatically, but they've gone up much more for smaller shippers than they have for larger shippers because of the market power that larger shippers have, and because in a market where you've got this sort of scarcity, there's actually more capacity than before, but there's so much demand. Yeah. The big shipping companies are worried about their biggest customers.
Gotcha. And so, as Senator Klobuchar said, there's 3 carriers that control 80% of the freight?
It's 3 alliances of carriers.
Okay, is there a difference between what I just said and what the truth is, other than alliances, several carriers?
There is. The alliances, the carriers that are part of an alliance are not allowed to discuss prices with each other. If they do, they're violating the United States antitrust laws. They have no immunity regarding discussing rates. They can discuss space sharing, et cetera.
Does the Department of Justice have oversight over that, or who has oversight?
I think I would say it's shared oversight, but it certainly the Department of Justice can look into it just as the FMC can.
So how do you guys get information from shippers? Do you have subpoena authority?
We do have subpoena authority. From shippers, I mean, you mean from the big carriers, the ones that carry the stuff, or do you mean the actual ship?
I will tell you, if there's one thing that really boils me, it's the fact that you've got shippers that are screwing the little guy.
Right.
How do you get that information?
We do have very broad a capacity to request information, and they have to provide it. As we've already discussed, it is proprietary, so that does create an issue with we can't publicize it. But we do have it, and we've asked for much more since this crisis has begun.
Yeah, look, I just think it's fundamentally wrong to beat up small business in this country, because it's small businesses that are the smaller carrier or the smaller shippers. I think it's fundamentally wrong to beat up production agriculture, but that's just my opinion. So, so you got ships that come into our ports that dump off a lot of goods because the trade difference is still big, and then they leave our ports and they don't take anything on their ship going back. Obviously, they're doing that because they can make more money.
Yes, they argue. Because I share with you what you just said, and I do think it's fundamentally wrong. Even if it's not illegal, it's still fundamentally wrong to victimize small businesses and farmers. But what they will make the argument, or analysts will make the argument, that it's cost so much, the rate they make is so much more for an import in this time of huge demand.
Because we allow them to charge us more because we're the United States of America. This reminds me of prescription drugs. They allow us to charge us more, and so they're going to screw us, not taking our products out. And there's nobody watching the shop here.
We are watching.
I know, but you don't have the authority to do what I just said.
Let me clarify. I do want to clarify one thing, though, because even I apologize for this, but somehow it was interpreted the other day as saying that the FMC has found no collusion. That is false. That is a false statement. And what I will say is we are looking at all of these reports, and any sort of wrongdoing, anything against the Shipping Act that we find, we are ready to investigate. We may already be investigating. I can't speak of particular cases, and that goes to the alliances and the individual carriers to the full extent of the law if the evidence is there.
My time is way over. I'm going to tell you that it doesn't make any sense that we allow ships to leave our ports empty. I don't think there's anybody in this country that would say that if we have stuff that needs to be shipped out, we should allow ships to do that. Now, if the big guys are more powerful than the United States, then we got to figure out something else. Because it sounds like they do what they want, whenever they want, with damn little transparency, charge whatever they want, don't let that information get out to the general public so they know how bad they're getting taken to the cleaners, and we don't have the tools to deal with that. This is a hell of a problem. We've got, the Senate doesn't fix much, but man, if we can fix this, this would be a giant step forward.
One of the things the legislation has is that we would collect and be able to report to the public aggregate numbers on exports. At least the public would know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are.
And I apologize, Madam Chair, but in the end, what we need to know is why can't we export our products when other countries, when China can import? Why can't we export? What is going on? And somebody needs to get out a big baseball bat and educate some folks.